Welcome everybody to day 3. We're here. Actually, where are we exactly? That's a good question. Well, we're in Port Hardy. We're going to head from Port Hardy up to Ketchikan. So we're heading up towards Alaska. Should be a fun flight. We're departing. I had to roll back the time just because of how life works. But we're here in Port Hardy, 6 a.m. and getting ready to head out here. So let's have a look at what's going on here. Whew, look at those graphics. That's stellar. Good old Xbox. All right, those are stowed. Let's check and see. Wonderful. Okay. Let's pull up a checklist as we do. Or, hang on, let's have a look at the route first. So, here's our route from Port Hardy. We're going to head up the coast. Pretty much hugging the coastline all the way up to Ketchikan. Should be a pretty flight, especially with the sunrise. We're going to fly right into the sun there, so that'll be neat. And anticipating that we're going to have a ILS on runway 11, but we'll see how that is. So I think the weather was doing a lot of changes today, so we're going to see if things stay the way that we guess. If not, I guess it gets changed around. But as per usual so far, I did the pre-flight inspection with this particular aircraft. The exterior features are modeled in sim, but they're not modeled to the level of 2024. So you can't, they're not clickable. The only way you can remove or install any of these features is directly from the onboard EFB. So let's stow that for now. We did a pre-flight walk around. Control locks are removed. Seat belts are good. Cabin doors latched. Nose baggage doors closed. You can always tell as well here because the baggage door key is in the cup holder. When it's not, it'll hang right off the calibration knob for the true airspeed on the airspeed indicator here. Parking brake is set. Landing gear is down. Electric switches are off. Engine and avionics switches are also off. Oxygen pressure. We are, in the range. Circuit breakers. Let's hide this for a second. Circuit breakers are all in. Supplemental bleed air is off. All pushed in. They sure are. Cabin pressure shut off. Those are pushed in as well. Alternate static air. That is in. And caged CO detector. Let's give it a test. Lights up as it should. Good to go. Environmental mode is off. Flaps are up. Power levers are flight idle. No, they're not. They're in reverse. Now they're in flight idle. Propellers are indeed in high RPM. Trim looks to be centered. Pretty well centered there. Propellers are trim. Conditions levers are in cutoff. Trim is centered. Fuel selectors are both on. Pre-flight checklist complete. Before start, beacon light. We're going to go beacon light is to on. Battery master. We're going to go on as well. Fuel quantities check 64, 63. That should be sufficient. Let me check here. Okay. There we go. All right. Enunciators. Test and check. Christmas lights. Good to go. Battery selector 1. Already on there. 25 volts. Need 23 minimum. It's good. Number 2, 25 volts as well. 23 minimum required. We're going to go to both. And we're good. Left ignition. We're going to go on. Or actually, we're going to go auto. And then on. Got drops in both. Right, we're going to go auto. Got drop. On. Okay. Wing pump. On. We're going to see pressure rise, voltage drop. Good. We'll check the left aux pump as well. Pressure rise, voltage drop. Off. And right wing pump, pressure rise. Voltage drop. Aux pump. Same thing. Good to go. Engine start checklist. We're going to go. Right started to on. Things 15, above 15. We're going to wait for the gas generator right here to get above 15. When it does, we're going to add there we go. We got light off. Looks to be happy. Above 52. Starter off, generator on. Conditionally run, gas generator, ITT, right starter off at 50. Right ignition. View off. Instruments check. Generators on, generator load below 60. Pulse volts above 28. Battery temperature below 120. Indeed it is. Let's go left starter. Ignition on. So, left starter. Waiting for that to be 15. Generator's taking some load. $14, $15. There we go. We have ignition. Stops out 697. Alright. Get both these on because it is raining. Bus volts on, gas generator, condition lever runs, ITT less. Let's get the starter off, generator on, ignition to off. Starter, engine check, generator load. Interesting. We had that engine fail. Right engine. Okay. Well, let's fall through the start procedure again. All right. Right engine, ignition on. Starter on. Light off. That was a hot one. It's looking good. Leave that high RPM. Okay. Starter's off. Generator's on. Ignition is off. There we go. We're sharing. All right. Engine starts. Generator buffs. Battery temperature below 140. Yes, it is. After start. Lights is required. Let's go taxi lights on. We're going to go nav lights on. Because why not? We're going to go weather radar 2. Standby, or is that test? No, that is test. So let's go standby. Avionics. Inverter. Alright. Let's get this panel lights on. Inverter main, inverter valve, non-seaters out, cabin temperature mode as desired. Let's get some heat going in here because it's 9 degrees. That's chilly. That is chilly, chilly. Alright. Actually, you know what I need to reset? While we're here, I never set up my search by input. I think it's view reset. Let's see what that one says. Reset drone, reset slew, camera reset. Okay. We're not going here. Camera reset. That one. Now let's see if that works. No, it doesn't like that one for whatever reason. Do that again. Oops. No, let's search by input then. So I think something else is bound to that. Search inputs. Camera resets. Take picture, interact. We're going to clean those up real quick because that's one I use a lot. And I finally switched to my yoke because I was tired of the controller. when you're on autopilot, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference, in all honesty. Let's try that again. Why does that not work? Works on my Xbox controller. That's annoying. Search that again. Right stick, drone, recall, reset exterior. I think it's reset cockpit view. That's the one. All right. That one. Okay, that should make me happy now. Let's look over here. There, snapback. Perfect. Okay. All right. So you and you closed. Well, it's getting a little warm. So let's open these up. Should see this come down a little. Anyhow, okay. So we're going to 8,000. We are in traffic. Actually, what's the field elevation here? Field elevation, because this is untowered, so we also do not have an ATIS. But we do have this. So now field elevation 46 feet. Somewhere around there. Should be pretty close. Okay. Now it's taxi.
Charlie Yankee Zulu Tango traffic. Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Mike Alpha is taxiing to runway 11. Charlie Yankee Zulu Tango.
Four. All right. One, 2, 0, 0. We're on. Switch to altitude reporting. I want to bring up my map. See where we're at. There we go. Okay, cool. Brakes on. Parking brake. Brakes are holding. Which direction are we gonna go? Let's go to the right here. bit of beta. Beta helps taxiing for sure. Let's get our landing lights on. Let's get... Just, drop this a little. Yeah, still panel lights. Let's pull up our checklist here. Make sure we have not forgotten anything. Okay, after start. We've done that. Run up. Not going to go through the full thing. Enunciate or test. Check. It's all good. Compass is slave. Let's see. This and this. Makes sense. They sure do. Road compass, fuel selector, cross sweep. We're not going to do that. Wing pumps. We're going to go wing pumps on. Power levers. We're going to skip the governor test today. Fire detector test. This one. Push to test. Yep. There it is. Generator load sharing. Power levers to idle. Orders. They are open. Everything's closed. Altitude, we do not need it today. Dorsal enunciators are off. Prop heat, don't care about those right now. Well, we're going to go with pitot heat on. Let's get the fuel vents and pitot heat on. Prop heat, no worries there. Pressure boots. Okay, pitch trim, power, exercise trim. Let's check our trim. Yeah, it's working. We're going to skip the autopilot test. We're going to go flaps to take off. Windows are closed. Ignition as required. We're going to have ignition to auto. Especially with the rain. Flight controls free and clear. Good there. Altimeter is set. Departure altitude is set. Takeoff heading. We're taking off from 1-1. Takeoff heading. Panel lights. Parking brake is released. Alright, let's taxi to the runway. Well, I don't like that. See, this is the fun of getting the yoke set up. Was that you find some things that are bound kind of funny. Like this. I do not want my comms panel to open up when I activate my parking brake. Because that just seems silly. So there we go. Parking brake off. No comms panel. Wonderful. Alright. Let's head out to the runway here. Start to get a bit brighter out. There we go. Kill the master caution. That's for the ignitions. Good there. All right. So let's do this. Before takeoff checklist. Let's get rid of that guy there. Before takeoff, oil temperatures 100 degrees minimum. They sure are. Battery temperatures below 120. They sure are. Air conditioning to off. It is off. Lighting is required. Transponder. Altitude mode. We're good. Weather radar. We can switch that sucker to on. Takeoff. Power to 1260. Right. Let's get the power lever. Good enough. Set. We're sliding on the runway there. Pick up that speed very quickly. Rotate. Wonderful. Gear coming up. Landing and taxi lights. We're going off. Back. Climb. Flaps up. Nav. Way too much. Let's get that heading. I'll circle around to the left here. Let's turn off those points of interest because they bug me. All right. I'm 3,000 feet a minute. No problem. 3,000 feet a minute climb at 150 knots. That's pretty impressive stuff. $6,300 for 8. Get on course here. 7,000 for 8. Got our warning. We can get our cabin temperatures more comfortable. See, dropping down already 17, 16. There we go. Leveling off here. I'm gonna leave the ignition auto. Wheel doors open. Prop. 2190 power levers 1260, but they're not. We don't need them there. Ice detectors, cabin temp mode as desired. Let's get some warm going on. Have a quick look here. We have a couple happy engines. We do. 0% FOD. So there's no need for these. Stay open. We're going to go straight to the cruise checklist. Ignition auto off, oil doors. We can get those closed as well. Oil's cool. Let's get them closed. Ice deflectors not needed. Pitot heat on because I know it's cold. Windshield prop heat, don't need it. Surface ice, fuel and balance, less than 25. Yeah, we're good. Propellers come down to 2,000. Right about there. I can get the power lever back up. Got up to 1150, which I know we can go over that, but we'll also over speed at that point. Okay, we'll manage the power levers. We're in flight. Good to go. So look, where are we hiding here on the route? Go. Intercept slowly. We got nav there. Caution. This is for the fuel doors again. Or sorry, the oil doors, not the fuel doors. It's no big deal there. We are on our way. And the sun is just starting to break through. Nice early morning. Definitely nice to have the yoke back together here, because boy oh boy, climbing with thumbstick is just not much fun. Such a pretty plane. Love this thing. I'd say this is probably one of, if not the best, general aviation planes in the sim. I also do love the Citation X. I think we're going to use it somewhere in here. I just feel like that's a little boring for a world tour. I mean, if I hopped in the Citation X, I could probably do a world tour in a few days. Things so fast. Just get up there in the flight levels and just zoom. So we're gonna track more to the left here. Let's get our heading lined up, get on course, so we're navigating correctly. Everything looks happy. Oil pressures, fuel flow, engines, all looking happy. Not much weather to speak of. So it's going to be a pretty flight. Just waiting for this heading to drop off and nav to pick up, and then we should make a slight right turn. I think that's something I gotta do is just go with the default registration. My registration that I should use for stuff like this. It's not working. FS2020 registration block doesn't jive with the 2024, so we've got a C and a dash. I think there's some letters somewhere else around here. There was sometimes, occasionally, when it works. There's the sun over there. Do I have strobe and nav? So yeah, nobody messing with me now. Looks like we're intercepting our nav. Yep, there we go. Heading's off. We're getting lined up with our magenta line. We're gonna head on over here. Should take us right along the coastline. Up British Columbia. Then we're gonna land. Should be landing in Alaska, I believe. I've never been great with geography. But let's look. So, flight plan here. We left Port Hardy. Going to Ketchikan. Ketchikan International. Weather. VFR, that's nice. Frequencies. Anchorage International, that's definitely Alaska. PAKT. Let's look. That's Alaska. The other fun part, once you get into Alaskan airspace, with the charts, the inbuilt charts, because this aircraft does not have a SimBrief integration, which to me is probably the biggest, I wouldn't say letdown, because the aircraft's great, but having that SimBrief integration would be amazing. Same thing with the Navigraph. Unfortunately, Navigraph and SimBrief, they don't have the, what was it, Sim Hub or SimBrief Hub, I think it is. It allows the integration into things like the in-flight EFB. And then also with the nav, back another window. So, because this is the TDS, the free one, I guess it's the PSM 750. You do get things like the traffic, terrain. You do get charts, because within there you are able to get a SimBrief integration. It's grayed out, but set up. There it is. So you see, it's there. Please activate your license. Enter license. Wonder if that would work. That's something to explore. I bet it doesn't. Um, with Xbox and all, I suspect that it's probably non-functional. But it's worth a look. Interesting. So it looks like you don't require a license, which makes sense. But I guess on PC, you do have access to a bunch of features, as it is, with certain things. Yep. Features. Nope. I want GPS. Sorry about that. Let's not get upset. There we go. Yeah, so unfortunately that is something we can't fiddle with at this time. Hopefully that will be something that will open up, but I suspect it will be limited for console users just because of the console limitations. So something to hope for in the future. I don't think we'll bother with flight following, just because I don't necessarily want to listen to... Nah, let's do it.
Vancouver Center, Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Mike Alpha is type Beechcraft Duke, 13 miles southwest of Charlie Alpha Kilo 5, 8,000. Request flight following.
Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Mike Alpha, Vancouver Center. Squawk 414 tree. Beechcraft
Squawk
Tango Mike Alpha.
4143.
Radar
Tango Mike
contact
Alpha.
12 miles southwest of Charlie Alpha Kilo 5, 8,000. Altimeter 2975.
2975 Tango Mike Alpha.
Roger, Beechcraft Tango Mike Alpha.
Here we go. But I would love more integration. I mean, that's what's eventually going to push me to go PC for this. Same thing for my my driving, my racing sim stuff. I'm just going to end up having to go to PC. Unfortunately, the consoles are limited for sure. Stuff like sim racing, the Le Mans Unlimited. There's talks about it coming to console, but again, it's suspected that it's going to be a working port over to console, so it's going to probably lose some of that functionality, similar to ACC, which is what I primarily do racing on now. The limiting factors, stuff like force feedback, is not nearly as good on console as it is on PC, and I do have good sim quality stuff. So I've got a Moza R12 V2 base, So it's kind of a mid-level, mid-upper level wheelbase. Got the wheels, got the load cell pedals, full rig, all that kind of stuff. So it is almost to the point where my equipment outshines the operating system that runs it. So I think that's going to be my next big step. Will be transitioning to PC, because being limited on simple stuff that is there in some aircraft and not in others is definitely frustrating. Definitely frustrating. As I've got other aircraft that do have SimBrief Navigraph integration, which is fantastic. One of the reasons why I love the Honda Jet. Same thing with the Vision Jet, or the previous Vision Jet. I don't know if the native in-sim Vision Jet has it or not, but I know in 2020 the Vision Jet there had integration. It was great. Especially for console users, because on the console I could have my tablet set up real world and have my aircraft displayed on that tablet while flying in the sim. So you're not relying on an additional window, because again, on console you're limited to just a single screen, right? So you don't have multiple screen capability with an Xbox. I'm not sure PlayStation, but PlayStation doesn't have FS2024 yet. It was just announced, so that's pretty cool. Should be interesting to see what gets done with that. The more titles, I think, that have access to the simulator, the more people are going to want to produce products, produce planes. So it's going to be on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So that should draw even more developers in. I know MS Scenery is probably going to make a boatload of money for those that kind of enjoy the arcade type flying, because their models exterior wise, just messing around, flying around in the sim, they look decent. But the functionality and the depth is just not there. It's not even close, unfortunately. Let's get a little, looks like we got a little bit of rent. There's a touch of rotor trim there. Get that ball centered. Flying nice and even. What do we want for minimums? Set our minimums, 200. Ground proximity radar. That's always cool. Or when we get to, was it 2,500 feet above the ground, you'll start seeing a needle in here. Winding down. This is basically our minimums. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. What our minimums will be. ILS. Go. So it looks like 320. Not published. Interesting. Standard 3-degree glide path. So started descent 4100. Lots of information. This is stuff, to be fair, in my real wood flying, I've never really messed with instruments flight that much. It's definitely something I want to, and something I need to learn more about in the sim, because I'll be perfectly honest with you. I am not sure what my minimums are for this approach. But, you know, you read it. Effective the 1st of October 24, ILS, the localizer for Y, ILS. Within 10 nautical miles. Localizer unusable, beyond 25 degrees left of course, 50 degrees right of course. Looks like there's some towers. Got one there. To the right of the approach. Oh, okay. CTF, Acreage Center, Mavis. Let's try some of these. 1, 3, 4, 5. Transfer. Nothing yet. But I believe let's go with decision height. Well, let's go with 300 feet. Minimums. It's currently VFR, so not too worried about the actual decision height there, but we just want to be sure. So that's something I gotta spend some time, learn how to properly use charts. Lots of information in there. You just gotta know how to decipher it all. Ground chart. Helpful to taxi, but when you got an airport that's like this, I mean, you've got no taxiways except at the ends of the runways. And you've got taxiway A, B. Looks like there's a C, which is the GA transient parking. So I imagine I'm going to be taxiing Alpha, potentially Alpha Charlie, or ask for the FBO, I guess. Let's have a look at the beautiful sunrise on the west coast of Canada, heading up towards Alaska. Look at that lovely fluffy cloud right there. Ominous. We're gonna punch right through it. active pause, is it? Sure is. Slow landing. Interesting. Does this work? Let's go with this. Alt H. Don't think there is. Headphone simulation, this one. Control B. Oh, nope. That's a bad idea. Control B, drop my flaps. Shift number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Beechcraft Tango Mike Alpha contact Vancouver Center on 128.4. Good day.
Let's go in here. 1, 2, 8, 4. Let's respond back.
128.4 for Beechcraft Tango Mike Alpha. Vancouver Center, Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Mike Alpha, 8,000. Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Mike Alpha, Vancouver Center, altimeter 2974, radar contact continue.
That's 2974. Two 974. Perfect. What have we got coming up in front of us here? One of the many, many islands. Whole area is just scattered with islands. Where are we at? Okay. Interesting. I did that lovely thing where we're just going for a straight shot, I guess. That's alright. I don't know why it keeps doing that. That's alright. But that definitely means 'cause I was slightly confused where we where we were at. So I was actually expecting to be a little bit more right over there. That's okay. We'll make do. We'll have to be more cognizant of those changes on the next one. Oh, what does this do? Dim. Hmm. 24. Let's drop the temperature. I'm getting too warm. Based on that temperature, 8,000 feet. (8,000 feet), 0 degrees, 220 roughly knots true airspeed. 200 knots indicated. And I believe our ground speed is probably significantly higher than that. EF. 35 knots across the ground. That's pretty quick. Indicated 200. 235 across the ground. 8,000. If we're at 20... I think they were saying the best performance out of this is around 27,000 feet. So 27,000 feet, apparently, can see speeds as high as 390 knots true airspeed, which is just exceptionally fast for something that, a private pilot can operate. This thing can zoom. Ooh, look, we got the pretty clouds now. Don't know if you guys can see it, but this is yet again one of the things that I believe is something that afflicts the console users. Is vanishing lines off into the distance. But if you ignore that and just look up close, it does look pretty. So look, make sure everything in here is still happy. Wing tanks, actually don't need those on. Just need to spool down. Everything looks happy. Fuel control unit, feeding fuel around the engine there. Air coming in, getting compressed. And the fuel, getting it burning, spinning that turbine, spinning that prop. Nose baggage lights. Huh, that's cool. Didn't know there's lights up there. I'll have to check that out. Cabin, 23 degrees currently. Pulse oximeter, so we're good for oxygen wise. Auto heat target's 23, we're at 23.
Beechcraft Tango Mike Alpha contact Vancouver Center on 128.0. Good day.
1280 Tango Mike Alpha.
Vancouver Center, Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Mike Alpha, 8,000. Beechcraft Charlie Foxtrot Tango Mike Alpha.
152 nautical miles to go. 152 nautical miles.
Radar contact.
235 knots across the ground. That's, gotta say, that's it's pretty impressive. This is a neat feature though. So, active failures, reset all failures. Apparently, this knob, left engine condition, repair engine. So, through this weather radar, you can actually repair the engines if you screw them up. So far, what have I done here? I have destroyed, or nearly destroyed, one of the engines. Had a start problem, and I think I had a binding issue with one of the buttons, so I went to start, and what ended up happening, what happened? Yeah, okay, so I started, I got my right engine started my left engine, and there was a binding issue for my condition levers, and I had started it, and then somehow I had cut it off the fuel just ever so momentarily and popped it back in, hoping that, you know, the second that it was out that the engine will suddenly keep running, but it didn't. The engine shut down, so I let it cool down for about a minute, and I went through the start procedure again for the left engine. When I did that, I got a massive, I believe it's referred as to a hot start. So I saw the ITT was pegged way over here. And then when you go to check the engine conditions, I think it was down to 40%. It was 100% when I started and dropped down to 40%. So got to be careful there. And I had a similar, similar issue earlier because I am working on a Turtle Beach Velocity 1 yoke in the throttle quadrant. I've also got the rudder pedals as well. And all works great. Unfortunately, with Turtle Beach, you're only given 3 axes for your throttle quadrant. There's a 4th one in there, but it is used mostly for flaps. It's got like a middle detent and everything. So you've got 3. So you've got a power, mixture, and condition, or a propeller. Depends how you want to set it up. But in this case, it'd be, you throttle, the prop, and condition levers. So I have to bind both left and right engines to a single lever. So during the startup, I still have to use the mouse to get things going. And I had my condition lever in the cutoff position, manually on the yoke. So when I started up one engine, I moved the lever. Realizing that I had done that, I figured, okay, well, I'll just use the Turtle Beach to introduce the fuel for the next start. When I did that, the momentary movement from off to up, it caused it to cut fuel on the other engine that was already running, resulting in the same problem. But I did some reading and found out that if you do have that issue, one of the suggestions that I saw was to run the starter for a longer period of time on that engine to allow all the fuel and everything and cooler air to be flowing through the engine. Brings down the engine temperature, helps to prevent a hot start. I believe they call it dry motoring in a turbine engine. So it looks like my fuel planning was not amazing. 65 gallons. I believe in cruise right now I am burning roughly, let's have a look. I think I punched in the numbers here. My expected numbers anyway. $45 gallons an hour. So I've got roughly another hour and a half of fuel and cruise. That's not gonna, it's gonna come down probably give an hour and 45 because there's gonna be descent where I'm off throttle quite a bit, so you're not burning as much fuel. Got one of those weird life straw bottles that almost acts like it's pressurized. So if you leave it closed for too long, open it, it comes out the bottom. Looks like we got some pretty sun coming up. The sun has finally peaked over those mountains. See if we can't get a nice angle here. Photo. A few times I actually like using a controller. Seal's good. Oh, okay. Don't know what I did there. That's bad news bears. That was fuel. That was an interesting one. So, let's not try that key binding again. I thought I was hitting the, what do you call it? Noise canceling headphone shortcut. Control H. Turns out that puts my condition levers into cutoff. So, yeah. Luckily, we had enough altitude to do what we need to do to get them restarted here. And make that high-pitched squeal go away. There it is. All right. Yeah, so, okay, that was in-air restart on both engines. Ignitions to on, starters to on, introduce fuel, and they both started up, no problem. But that was uncomfortable. I think I definitely need a quick change of the pants there. Alright, we're at 100 nautical miles away from our destination. approach happens real quick in this thing. Got the ILS at standby. And I wonder if it can give me heights. Yes. So, 5 bubble at 5,000. Bubble. Bubbles. I like bubbles. 5,000, 5,000, 3,000. 2,400. Runway. Final approach fix. Cross the final approach fix at 2,400. Under 20 nautical miles. Bum 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 bum. Boy, oh boy. Ooh, ooh, okay. I want to read that. I want to read that. Gear max extended and operating 134 knots. Indicated airspeed. Flaps. Max approach 174. Max full 140. Minimum single engine control 96 knots. Single engine climb. Best angle 110. Best rate 120. Recommended approach 100 knots. Demonstrated crossing 25. Max maneuvering 158. Twin engine climb. Best angle 110, 120. That's funny. Single and twin. Same. Recommended 140. Do not land while pressurized. Must operate as normal category airplane. For VFR, IFR day and night operations. Flight into known icing. Cool beans. Even on Xbox, this is cool. Look at the little fingerprints on the glass. Can we tap? Yep. There's no ELT test. What airport we got over here? There's something over there. Over there somewhere. I think it's up one of these fjords. Oh. Oh, what's happening here? Where are you? What are you doing? That was weird. Interesting. Yoke decided it wanted to be all over the place, or maybe we're just in some turbulence. That's some nice interior lighting there. Some sunshades. That's pretty cool. You know what? I really haven't checked out the cabin here. Let's see if we can't go on the back. Nice little table. Like that locks into the wing. Definitely don't open that while flying. That'd make for a bad day. Full table goes away. That's the emergency exit. Yeah, that's the emergency exit window. What does that say? Oxygen, no smoking. Okay, that's your oxygen hookups. For supplemental oxygen. This is pressurized after all.